Hey, Talofa Let's out with Dr. John Peterson here, TE2 Sports Cards. Coming at you live and direct, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Well, it's Friday. Figured I'd do a video. I haven't done a card show since December. That was the Maplewood card show, Maplewood Mall card show out in Oakdale, Minnesota. And we've got the first Minnesota card show, which is the first national show, happening April 20th through the 23rd at the Hyatt here in Minneapolis, downtown. So I figured I was done coaching basketball for my son's team. I coached for 6 months, had a great time, enjoyed being with the kids, been super busy with work, but I've invested quite a bit of time this last week and a little bit last week, the week before I should say, getting ready for this national card show. I guess there's going to be about 300 tables. It's sold out, which definitely want to give props to Isaac Hoffman for all the work that he's done promoting the show and organizing the show. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. Totally looking forward to it, and just, you know, worked with him a little bit early on just to kind of help him out and send him some encouragement and positive vibes to put on a great show. So all that being said, I'm going to do the Bloomington card show tomorrow from 9 to 4, and have gone through all of my baseball, 90% of my baseball slabs, and let's see here, basketball slabs, repriced stuff, looked at different comps, all that sort of thing. So figured what I'd do today is give you an idea of what I'm bringing to the show tomorrow. On the baseball side, it's mostly vintage. There's some modern. I don't really do ultra modern baseball. Just not really my thing. No disrespect to anybody who does. So, but I usually stick to stuff that's, you know, pre-2010 or earlier. So I'll go through these cards. I'll show you the prices I put on these and kind of my thinking around the pricing. If you want to check out the TE2 Edge Sports Cards eBay store, you can find us on eBay. Just search for TE2 Edge Sports Cards. Also have the My Slabs page up, which is pretty updated. And yeah, so as everybody seems to say on these content shows on YouTube, without any further ado, let's jump into the cards. I typically don't do ungraded cards at these shows. It's just too much of a headache for me. So I just stick to mostly slabs, but let's take a look here and see what we got. So this first one, this is a 52 Dobie. It's in a PSA 2. I put 115 on it. You know, PSA is just really hammering vintage right now. I've watched a number of videos. I watched Mike's video, Bench Clear. Man, he had some sweet cards from the 70s, and he just got nailed. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is with PSA, why they're being so difficult on vintage, but I thought this was a nicely centered copy. Put 115 on it. This is probably the biggest card I got. It's a 53 Mally. Y'all have seen this. SGC 5, put 12 on this. You know, you really have to look closely at the card. You know, you can't just rely on the grade when it comes to vintage, especially high-end vintage like this. I've seen some PSA 6s in the old slabs that don't look as nice as this 5, that are listed for like way more than $12,000. I've also seen some PSA 5s and new slabs that aren't as good as this. So I don't know. I put 12 on this. I think it's a fair starting point. Would I go a lot lower on it? No, not really. I mean, it's probably my best card and my favorite card, one of my favorite cards. So, but yeah, it's a 53 Mal in an SGC slab. I think it looks really nice in the SGC slab. Got 12 on that. It's a 53 Monty Irvin. And a 4. I put 135 on that. I'd probably take a little less on that. This one was a tough one to price. I've never priced an authentic altered card before. This was my dad's card, and he traded it with a childhood friend, and unfortunately he cut it, as you can see, to match the size of the 57 tops, the standard size. So it's an Aaron rookie card. I mean, not everybody has an Aaron rookie card. Of course, it is trimmed considerably. I put 2,000 on it. I don't know if that probably is high. Some people would say. I mean, I've seen some PSA ones in the $2,000 range. I don't know how that compares to authentic altered. Plus, it's in a CSG slab. Not that that should really matter, but I put 2,000 on it. If I sell it, great. If I don't sell it, it's fine. It's got a lot of kind of memorable, emotional value to it to me because it's my dad's. It was my dad's favorite card growing up, so he was a Braves fan. 54 Jackie Jensen and a near mint 7. Pretty nice copy. A lot of times in these 54s, there's chipping on the ends, the top and the bottom. Sometimes on the sides too, but a really super hard set to find centered. So I'll put 175 on that. Adobe, again, 54 tops. This was from a lot that I bought. I think I paid $2,000 for the lot. This is over a year ago now, or just about a year ago. I put them all on CSG slabs, kind of with the intention of PCing them. So I've got a bunch of the commons, mostly mid to high grade. But he wasn't going to include this in the lot, and I said, hey man, if you this is my buddy Cal down at the ballpark in Golden Valley, Minnesota. I said, you throw in that Dobie and we got a deal. So he threw this in as an add-on. I put 425 on it. Yeah, nice card. It's one of my favorite cards here. 54 tops, Spawn, and an 8. Just love that light blue background. 54 is probably my second or third favorite set all time. This card actually has appreciated in value when I first picked it up. Again, in that same 54 lot from Cal. It was probably $750. So some of the recent comps on this had it at $1,100, $1,150, $1,000. Questionable top to bottom centering. So, you know, you could say maybe this isn't quite an 8, but that's the grade it got. So not in any big hurry to move this card, but if there's a big Braves fan that comes by that's interested in this 54 Spawn, I'd cut him a deal on that. This is also from that 54 top slot that I picked up. It's a Hodges and a 6. I think this looks really nice. That's a great card. Recently made the Hall of Fame in the last couple of years. Put 200 on that. Joe Black. I think this is his second year card. This is in a 7. Love the Brooklyn Dodgers. I had a Brooklyn hat back in the day growing up. Always liked the Brooklyn Dodgers. More of a Brooklyn Dodgers than New York Yankees guy. 175 on that. There's Scooter Rizzuto. Also in a 6. And you can see there, a little chipping, a little white. Still pretty centered though. That's the thing about this lot, this 54 lot that I got, is just so many of the cards were nicely centered. This did not come from that lot. This is something I picked up on my slabs 4 or 5 months ago. Now you're looking at the prices at five grand for a 7. You're thinking, whoa, John, that's a lot, and it is. But I'm telling you, I have spent probably an hour of time comping out all the various 54 tops K-line rookies that are currently that have recently sold and that are currently for sale on eBay. And this is the nicest 7 that is currently out there, and it's not even close. There's no chipping at the top, just a tiny bit up there. It's centered really nicely. The registration is fantastic. And the back, look at how clean the back is. I mean, we got a little chipping over here. It's probably why it's a 7 and not a 7.5 or an 8. The person picked this up through PWCC, and it was given an A grade of above average. So I put 5 on this. Will I get 5 for it? Probably not, but I don't think it's any less than 4 or 4.5. I mean, I think K-line's undervalued, so I don't know, that's a pretty sweet card. And I'm definitely not in it for 5 grand. So looking to make a little profit off this if I do sell it. So I put 5 on that. There's a card that came from my dad's collection. One of his errands, he picked this up back in like 1990, 91 at a card shop out of Detroit, outside of Detroit Stadium. We were on a East Coast baseball park tour, a family vacation, and we went to like Memorial in Baltimore, and went to Cleveland and Detroit and Milwaukee County Stadium, and quite a few places. We didn't make it to Boston or New York, but made it to a lot of the Great Lakes cities. And that day I picked up a 55 tops K-line, no, a 55 Koufax, excuse me, which you're about to see. I traded a couple, like a Barry Sanders score rookie card, a Troy Aikman score rookie card, and a 55 tops K-line that was in pretty nice shape for the Koufax. But that same day, my dad picked up this card. I think this is a really nice looking card. The registration's great. The centering's great. PSA gave it a 2. It's got a crease, very small. I don't even know if I'd call it I don't know. I mean, you can barely see it on the backside. But if you look at it in the light, you can kind of see there's a couple small creases here. But I put 385 on this. I don't know. It's an awesome card. Just love the color on that card. All right, on to the next stack. The 55 Koufax I was just telling you about that I got at Detroit, or in Detroit, outside the stadium. It was a fun day. Detroit was playing the Red Sox. Clemens threw a shutout. Got his autograph that day too on my baseball glove. So this is a 3. I think that's a fair grade. I think PSA would probably give it a 2 if I were to send it in. Centered, good registration. Corners, obviously, especially this one here. A little bit of a crease down here, bottom right-hand corner. I've got 900 on this. This card actually dropped to like 750 and a 3 in the last year, but has since kind of made a bit of a push back up. So yeah, this has been, well, was for like 30 years my best card, and yeah, recently got it graded, so put 900 on that. It's gonna be a long video. 55 Irvin in a 6, white back. You got to check the pop count on the white backs versus the gray backs because it's not consistent. It's not like all the white backs are lower popped than the gray backs. I'll show you an example of that here in a little bit. But Irvin was a great player, Negro League great legend, and definitely a hero of Roberto Clemente's. 56 tops mantle. I originally had it it was originally in a BVG slab, and then I had it in a CSG slab, and I don't know, I just didn't like the look of it in the CSG slab. I think the grade was 7.5, 7, something like that, but I had Got Baseball Cards crack it out, and they put it in an SGC slab, which I think actually looks much better. The black on black, I mean, you can't beat it. For these old Yankee cards, I mean, come on. SGC is sweet. I'm not a huge SGC guy, but they do really well on vintage. I think SGC is really comparable to PSA, you know, when it comes to vintage, so in terms of resale. So I think one of the strongest aspects of this card is the back of the card. Super clean back. I mean, just look at these corners. So I put 5. What did I put on this? 5.5. Yeah, I'm in it for a little more than that. So unfortunately, I picked it up from Burbank Sports Cards. I think I overpaid for it. Well, I don't know. I bought it back in July. I don't know. I guess sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I wouldn't take much less than 5.5 for this, though. That's a 56 mantle. Got quite a few 56s. Williams in a 7. Always love this card. This is the white back version. Pretty clean back. A little bit off-centered in the back. Doesn't show up so much on the front, though. I put 3 on this. You know, like I said, you really got to look. You know, if you just look at the grade and not the card, you're going to end up buying a lower quality card for a higher price just because it's in a holder that has a higher grade. I think it's really important for the old vintage to look at the lighthouse, the PSA lighthouse. You know, if I'm buying vintage, I'm always looking to see what generation slab the vintage card is in. And if it's in an older generation PSA slab, the chances are that it's overgraded comparative to how they're grading today. They're definitely more strict with the vintage grading. And so it's really, really important to look at comps and look at the card and compare the cards. I really like centering. To me, centering is, along with registration, the 2 most important things when it comes to a vintage card. And you know, corners are important, edges are important, service is of course important. You don't want to have a bunch of creases and bends in it, but if the card's not centered, I don't fuck with it. Is basically what I'm saying when it comes to vintage. You know, I only deal with mostly centered cards, sometimes off-centered, you know, if I can flip it. But for me, it's all about eye appeal. So you'll see a 7 for less, but it's off-centered in this card. So I do price my cards based on eye appeal as much as I do based on comps. There's another example of a 56. This doesn't have the best registration, but it's got really good registration. Sometimes the registration can be faded on this card. A little bit off-centered, top to bottom and left to right. But overall, pretty nice. Now this was also in a CSG slab. I think it was an 8. I got it re-slabbed just because I would rather negotiate from a lower grade up than from a higher grade down, if that makes any sense. So if somebody's truly interested in this card, I want to have a conversation with them about how I think this card is undergraded rather than them telling me that it's overgraded, right? So, I mean, is this a 7? Yeah, I've seen some 8s out there in the old PSA slabs that aren't about equivalent to this, you know, and then an 8, you're looking at an $7.5, $8,000 card. So I don't know if that makes sense, but because if I just went with the straight grade on this is a $2,500, $3,000 card. But when I bought the card, I knew that it was worth more than that, and so I'm pricing it higher than that. People can jump all over me in the comments about it, but when you've put as much time into this as I have, then we can talk. I've put in hours upon hours upon hours upon hours researching these cards and comping them out. So anyway, not trying to be argumentative, just trying to keep it real. You know, like every single one of these cards, I've looked at everything that's available right now and recent comps and solds that have been paid for. You know, a 6. Yeah, I just don't think that's a 6. So I priced it as a 6.5, 7. Even some of the 7s out there aren't as good as this, especially in the older slabs. So it's a maze. So like this in a 6, you can get for $1,200, $1,300. But I sold a 6 in a PSA slab that wasn't as nice as this for $1,300, $1,400. This was back in October, November. And that card is not nearly as nice as this card is. And this is also a 6. So it's really dependent upon the grader, especially when it comes to PSA. I think SGC give this a 6.5, 7. White back. Oh, I wanted to mention too, the pop count on this is way lower than it is for it's like 8 times lower in the gray back than it is in the white back. So this is an example of a 56 Topps card where the gray back actually is a lower pop count than the white back, which isn't typically the case. There's more white back Clementes in the 56, I'm pretty sure, than there is the gray back. So I have a 2 on this. I'm in it for a little more than that, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. 56 Killebrew, again, super nicely centered. This is a VG4. You know, I don't think it's a 6, but I don't think it's a 4. I think SGC puts a 5 on this. Yeah, rumor has it PSA is using a black light and loop. And I don't know what Geniment probably has a black light. It's a 5. Yeah, I mean, centering's not the greatest. Could it be a 6? Tough to say. I thought this was a 5. I mean, there's a little bit of fading here on his face, but I've seen 5s that look way worse than this. So I put 500 on it. It's a white back. Picked this up off of a guy from Facebook. Bought it raw. This one here, I bought off of eBay last summer. I think I overpaid for it. In fact, I know I did. I've said that on other videos. It was, I can't remember the name of the place that I bought it from, but I don't know. It's one of those things where you win some and you lose some. I've had this card. I've had this card 4 or 5 different times. So, will I move it at $27.50? Probably not. But I don't know. I think it's a pretty nice example. It's a 7, real clean, white back. So if I don't move this at $27.50, I ain't gonna cry. 57 Mantle. This is in an older slab. This is actually an example of a 7 in this card, in an old slab, older generation slab that actually looks to be an accurate grade compared to what they're doing today. A little bit top to bottom, but left to right's real solid. I mean, maybe 55-45 left to right and 60-40 top to bottom. But the registration's fantastic. There's no snowing effect on it. I can't see and haven't been able to find any surface dimples or issues. I put 8 on this. I've listed this for 7 in the past, but compared to what's on eBay right now, I don't know, I put 8 on it. 59 Fleer Ted Williams. I think this is a pretty cool card because of just the heroic exploits of this man during World War II and the Korean War. People don't realize that. Some people don't realize that. He lost basically 4 or 5 years to the Korean War and World War II, and he was decorated as a Navy pilot. And you know, if he hadn't lost those 4 or 5 years in the prime of his career, he probably would have hit 800 home runs. I mean, I don't know, if he hit 30 to 40 home runs for 5 years, that's another 200 some home runs. He ended up with over 500 as it was. His batting average was ridiculous. I think he's the greatest hitter of all time. I don't think he's the greatest player of all time, but I think he's the greatest pure hitter of all time. Just my opinion, though. Minus some 60 tops. This is 6. I think it's a 6. I think CSG. I think CSG is pretty fair with their grading. What did I put on that? 525. Another one of my favorite sets. So you can see I collect certain years that I like. Sold a lot of 59s. Sold a 59 Gibson rookie. It's a second year Gibson. Really love these CSG slabs. They're just so hardy. 200 on that. Yeah, so I've sold a 59 Mantle, 59 Gibson, 59 K-Line, 59 Robinson. That's a great card. What I got on that? 250. This is 1960 Topps. It's just a quality set. And you got the rookie cards, the rookie cup cards. You've got the all-star cards. A lot of good stuff going on in the 60 Topps. Some people don't like the horizontal layout. You know, 57, 58, 59. They did the vertical layout. 56, 55, they did the horizontal layout. So horizontal layout would be 55, 56, 60. Trying to think if there are any other years that did horizontal. 75 in the Drysdale. His cards don't really go for much, which is really a shame. I thought this was an 8, frankly. A little chipping down there. 7.5 though, I put 750 on it. That's a nice copy. That's a pretty popular card. 60 Banks. Banks cards sell well. A lot of Cubs fans up here in the Midwest. They're authentic altered. I put $100 on it, probably not worth that, but I don't know. Another one of my dad's cards, post cereal. Found this at a dealer table. This is going on a year ago. Thought it was in really nice condition. Came back as an 8. Thrilled. I think I paid $5 for this card. So there's still really nice vintage cards out there. You just got to do some digging. Plan to do a little bit of that at the show tomorrow. A couple dealers I really like. So 61 Robinson, what I got on this? 180. 7.5. Yeah, top to bottom. Not my favorite card because it's not super center. I think this card is severely undergraded. There's a 5. There's no creases on this. No surface wear that I could tell. Back is centered. I just don't know how that's a 4. In a 4, that card's like $125, $150 card. I refuse to price it at that. I priced it as a 5. Great eye appeal on that. And these are really hard to find centered. I had a few of those errands that weren't centered. Here's a 63 tops. Also a fun set. Super hard to find these in a high grade because of those colored borders on the bottom. Zoilo, or as they called him, Zorro. It's a rookie card. I thought that was an 8, but guy won an MVP in the mid-60s. Friendly Foes. Also a pickup at a dealer table. Yeah, paid probably $5 for that. Let's pick up at a card shop. Paid $5 for that. Came back as an 8. Great card. 64 tops stand-up. Sold a bunch of these last fall. Sold the Ostremski. Sold the Clemente. Sold the Koufax. Yeah, they're pretty popular cards, especially in PSA slabs. 64 Aaron. One of my all-time favorite cards next. 66 tops batting leaders. Or showing the 65 batting leaders, 66 tops card. I think it's one of the all-time great cards. I mean, I don't think you're going to see a better trio of players than this. Bought this at a card shop, Ultimate Collectibles in Hopkins, a while back. I probably paid $50. I think I'll do okay on this one. Got $5.25 on that. For some reason, I've come across Don Sutton quite a bit. Put 50 on this one. I think this is what, near mint 7.5 and a BGS slab, VDG slab. Picked this up for cheap. Larry Heisel. Some people forget about this guy. He was a good player. Played for the Brewers in the 80s, late 70s. Nice hitter. Actually, probably had a more successful career as a batting coach than he did, maybe even as a player. Very respected batting coach over the years. Probably gone now. There's an 8. 71 top Sutton. You don't see a lot of 8s in the 71s. Hall of Famer. 75 tops. Aaron. Second to last card. Got 175 on that. It's a 7. Another Sutton. 76. 75 on that. 300 game winner. My favorite Robin Yount card. Not his rookie card. I like his rookie card. His rookie card's nice, but I like the 76 set better. I don't know why. I know a lot of people just love the 75 set. It is a classic set. There's no doubt about it. But this is my favorite year of card for Robin Yount. He was my favorite player growing up. His cards, I think, are undervalued. I mean, the guy had 3,000 hits, won an MVP at 2 different positions. Probably, for all practical purposes, was the best player of the 1980s, all around. Defensive, hitting. I don't know. I think he's undervalued. TE2 Donruss. 8. Or no, 9, excuse me. I'll go a little faster here. Alomar traded. debut. These 9.5 grades aren't my favorite. I think they're a pain in my ass, actually. Nobody wants a 9.5. Everybody wants a gem mint 10. If you can't get a gem mint 10, you go for a 9. Nobody wants a 9.5, in my opinion. I could be wrong. This card on a 9.5 sells for maybe like $10 at the most. And a 10, I listed at 200. You know, so I'd rather have it be a 9. If it were a 9, it'd sell for $10. You know, 9.5 adds no value in my opinion. I'd like to see them get rid of 9.5. Speaking of the devil, 9.5. And really, what's the difference between these two cards? I mean, I'd really like for CSG to tell me that. I love these 92 Flair Ultra All-Stars. Done a number of videos on those. Box breaks, they're pretty cheap. 93, 92 Fleer Ultras, 30, 40, 50 bucks a box at the most. Picked this up on an auction. Jeter score rookie. Upper deck. Yeah, right corner. I think this guy's cards, even though it's from Junk Wax era, are pretty undervalued. I think he's the best hitting catcher in the history of the game. Like, hands down. Not the greatest defensive catcher for sure, but definitely the best hitting catcher. That bench was good. Barrow was good, but look at this guy's, compare this guy's WAR as a catcher with, say, like, Bench, Barrow. I wouldn't compare him with Pudge because Pudge was such a juicer. I like Pudge Rodriguez, but I think I'm kind of pissed that he's in the Hall of Fame as a known juicer. Everybody knew Pudge Rodriguez juiced. Same for Ortiz. You know, they're in the Hall of Fame because they're like likable, quote unquote, whereas Bonds isn't. McGuire's not. Sosa's not. If you're going to put in one juicer, put in all the damn juicers. If you're not going to put any juicers, then keep them all out. But don't put in some and not others. That's bullshit. That's total bullshit, in my opinion. Bud Selig's in the Hall of Fame. If anybody shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame for juicing, it should be Bud Selig. Guy's a clown. I like these Flair. 96 Flairs are really nice. They've got silvers and golds. That's a gold. That's a gold. Beautiful cards. Not terribly expensive to buy either. I mean, this 97 Flairs are real expensive. This is one of my all-time favorite sets. 96 Metal Universe. Stan Lee. All the Marvel folks designed these cards. Tough to get in 10s. Especially with PSA. With a 10, this is a $900 card. Oh no, this isn't the platinum. And a 10, this is an $900 card. I had one at one point, but I auctioned it off stupidly with PWCC a year ago. Should have hung on to that. I just love these. I mean, this is the first metal set. I don't think there was anything before this. Maybe basketball. Getting down there. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Top 5 third baseman all time, in my opinion. See, I put him behind Schmidt. I don't think he's quite up with Chipper, but close. Gem mint 10 Griffey. This card's dropped in value. I think I paid $75 for that. Don't get me wrong, I like Big Papi. You know, I'm a Big Papi fan. He's a likable guy, good announcer. But why is he in the Hall of Fame? He admitted to juicing. Why is he in the Hall of Fame and this guy's not? If you're not going to put the juicers in, then don't have any in. If you're going to put one or two in, then put them all in. That's the most annoying part about it for me. Is the inconsistency. I hate inconsistency. It's one of the reasons why PSA drives me nuts. So goddamn inconsistent. As an example, so 9.5, yeah, same price as 9. You can list it for a little more, but you ain't gonna get a little more. Another 9.5. And I guess you could crack these out and see if you can get a 10 in PSA or an SGC 10. Problem with SGC is that they do 9.5s too. That was a pack pull back in 2000. Not the ruby, but still the refractor. Cool card. Doesn't even look like Jeter, actually. If you look at his face, look at it closely. Doesn't look like Jeter to me. 2000 Topps, little hands of gold action. And these are tough to get in a high grade. Now this card. Man, this card. This card is one of the most mysterious cards. Listen, if you have been watching this and you're sticking with this, we're at 40-some minutes. Most of these cats out here do 10, 15-minute videos, 6-minute, 8-minute videos. Sometimes I do, but mostly my videos are longer. So if you are watching and sticking with this, I definitely need your help with this. So this is the 2001 Flirt Platinum. The insert is called Winning Combinations. Now this is the blue version. There's a red version that's numbered. And usually they're numbered at like 2,500. But the blue version actually is short printed even more than the red version is what I found out. Now this card has New Zealand pools on it, obviously. I saw some cat selling this for like $30,000. There's no way this is a $30,000 card, but I don't know. It's a Pujols rookie card. The Flirt Platinum stuff, excuse me, was Flirt Platinum was a high-end release product, you know. The problem is it's not serial numbered, so you don't really know how many of these there are, but I don't think there's very many. You go online and try and find this card. It's super hard to find this in a high grade. There's a few raw ones out there, but like they sell for like 150, 200, 250. I don't know. I put 800. I put 900 on it. I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's also 2001 Flirt Platinum. I love that Flirt Platinum set from 01. There's a Jeter. I don't know why that's a 9. Also from Flirt Platinum, they got these classic combinations. These are also numbered. Numbered to 2000. It's a fun one. Dickey and Vera. If you know me, I love Ichiro. Big Ichiro fan. It's a 2001 Bowman Heritage. Also like Jeter. And Jeter's a top 5 Yankee great. I put him up there with Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Jeter. Those are my top 5 Yankees all time. I think he's ahead of Berra. He's ahead of Whitey Ford. Yeah, I don't know. Top 5 in my opinion. I think he's 5 actually. I'm not a Yankee fan though, so I guess I kind of speak out of turn on that one. 425 on the Topps Chrome 2001. Was a traded. Picked that up off PWCC. Here's an example of the winning combinations. Now this is a nice one too. I paid like 15 bucks for this. 150, yeah. So this is a nice card. Musial Williams, right? Legendary lefties. Numbered to 250, excuse me. That's a low pop. That's a short print. So on an 8.5, 150 bucks, but it's another example of that 2001 Fleer Platinum. Utley. Yeah, outside chance for the haul. Probably not, though. Good war, though. Pujols. Just love that card. These Sporting News cards from the 2005 top set are just sweet cards. That card on the Ichiro. Love those cards. Inscribed. This is part of a lot that I bought a while back. I paid 75 bucks for a lot. That's one Trout card I got. That's a sweet card. Rookie Cup, 2013. All right, that's what I got. Appreciate you watching. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Hope to see you at the card show if you're local here tomorrow. And for those of you that are flying in from parts unknown to Minneapolis for the Minnesota Card Show, stop at my table. I'll be at row 13. I think I'm in the VIP section. I'll have a lot of these cards. I got a bunch of basketball and football too, but figured I wouldn't go through those right now because it's just too long of a video. So, all right, take care. Much respect. Have a blessed weekend. Peace out. One love.